Joe Biden says, and I quote, "Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity. It wastes the talent of entire generations. It scares away investments and jobs. Say no to corruption." Hello, and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Muhammad.
I am Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, the Chief of Army Staff, Nigerian Army. I want to call on all Nigerians to eschew corruption and all crimes that have to do with the Nigerian economy, and indeed that are much dangerous to our coexistence as an entity of Nigeria. I know, and you all know, corruption is a serious disease which is highly detrimental to our society, to our social cohesion, and indeed to our national development and progress. So all Nigerians are enjoined to take steps to ensure that they are accountable in whatever position they are placed in. This will help us to fight corruption and remain accountable for our country and for all Nigerians, so that the much needed development can be achieved through a corrupt-free society.
On the program today, EFCC commissions Ibadan office. Lamido's corruption trial, court adjourns to July 7 for ruling on motion. EFCC confiscates properties and bank accounts of Judge Turner, and protesters hail EFCC for prosecuting Judge Turner. This and more will come your way shortly.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The EFCC, in furtherance of its vision to bring the Commission closer to the Nigerian people, has added another office to its bouquet of offices across the nation. The latest addition is the Ibadan office located on Reverend Oyebode Crescent, Iyaganku, GRA, in the ancient city, which was formally commissioned on Thursday, May 25, 2017. At the commissioning, the federal government promised to implement a national anti-corruption strategy that will ensure institutionalization of results-based systems and structures, as well as ensuring appropriate incentives for an increased participation of members of the society in the fight against corruption. Amina Kawua tells us more on this.
President Muhammadu Buhari gave this indication on Thursday, May 25, 2017, at the official commissioning of the Ibadan Zonal Office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, at Iyaganku, GRA, Ibadan, Oyo State. Speaking through the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, the President said there will be a review of the EFCC Act to strengthen the agency in ridding the country of economic and financial crimes, and how the frequent removal of the agency's chairman. He added that emphasis will be placed on strengthening public education and awareness, and repositioning the agency to function at par with the international counterparts.
The event of today is no doubt a remarkable step in furthering the efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure that we rid Nigeria of corruption and indeed take the necessary infrastructure of fighting corruption to the grassroots. The opening of the EFCC's office in Ibadan indeed signals the intent of the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that the anti-corruption crusade is taken to every nook and cranny of the country. It is indeed an effort of the EFCC that is highly commendable.
He enjoined the public to support the administration in its fight against corruption, which, according to him, had eaten deep into the fabrics of the country. While commending the EFCC for the successes recorded so far, the president expressed optimism that the commission's presence in Ibadan will further enhance the achievement of the objective of getting the citizenry involved in the fight against corruption.
What we have here today and what we are here to commission is a clear manifestation of the acceptance of collaborative approach to the fight against corruption. We must sincerely commend the good people of Oyo State and the government of Oyo State under the leadership of distinguished Senator Abiola Ajimobi for supporting the work of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in having in place this structure that we are all gathered here to commission this morning. I most sincerely thank you for participating.
In his welcome address, Ibrahim Magu, acting chairman EFCC, acknowledged the strategic position of Ibadan in Nigeria's evolution as a nation, adding that the decision to set up a shop in the Asian city was informed by the need to take the crusade against corruption to the grassroots and make the commission accessible to the people. According to him, the Ibadan zonal office was created to encourage the citizenry involvement in the fight against corruption. He therefore called for support and cooperation of all and sundry towards winning the war against all manners of graft.
The commissioning of our office today is part of my vision to ensure that we take the crusade against corruption to the grassroots. We assure you that we shall not betray the trust and confidence reposed in us, both by the people of Oyo State and Nigerians across the state of the Federation. Let me state in unequivocal terms that our presence here should not scare away anybody. Instead, it should be celebrated by all. If you have nothing to hide, you can be rest assured that if the EFCC knocks on your door, it is to ask for your support.
Speaking at the event, the governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, called on Nigerians to join hands with the EFCC in the fight against corruption, saying, "It is the greatest evil bedeviling the society." Ajimobi, while commenting the decision of the EFCC in coming to the state, said it was important to always sensitize members of the society about the inherent danger of corruption. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for making the fight against corruption a cardinal focus of his government and urged every Nigeria to key into the president's mantra of, "If we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us."
What Ibrahim Magu and others are doing, including Attorney General and our President, is to make the environment purer. The cost of business will go down if we reduce corruption. Investors will come because they will have confidence in us. And you can say that 2 plus 2 will be 4. In a corrupt society, 2 plus 2 can be 22. So I'm pleading with all of us that the fight is not Magus alone. It's the fight of all of us.
The ceremony was attended by top government functionaries, head of security agencies, civil society groups, traditional leaders, youth, women groups, members of the NYC, as well as stakeholders from diverse sectors. Amina Kawa, reporting for The Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Now to court matters. Justice Babatunde O. Quadri of the Federal High Court Maitama Abuja has adjourned to July 7, 2017 for ruling on a motion by the embattled former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, praying the court to return his case file to former trial judge Justice Adeniyi Ademola. Golden Onwura has details on this and other reports.
Lamido, who is currently facing an amended 48-count charge of money laundering alongside his sons, Aminu Sule Lamido, Mustafa Sule Lamido, Aminu Wada Abubakar, Bamaina Holdings Limited and Speeds International Limited, allegedly abused his position as governor between 2007 and 2015 by awarding contracts to companies where he had interests, using his two sons as fronts. The trial was transferred from Justice Adeniyi Ademola to Justice Quadri following the arraignment of Justice Ademola and the lead counsel to Lamido, Joe Agi SAN, for alleged corruption and money laundering. But at the resumed trial, Lamido, through his counsel, Offiong SAN, told the court that the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court exceeded his powers in transferring the criminal matter to Justice Quadri and demanded the return of the case to Justice Ademola, who was recently discharged and acquitted of corruption allegations. According to Offiong, the main challenge is not whether the CJ has powers to transfer cases. Rather, it is whether or not the CJ kept within the statutory boundary set out in Section 98 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA 2015, before he exercised his power. He further stated that the law prohibits the CJ from exercising the power of transfer where witnesses have been called. Responding, prosecuting counsel Chile Okoroma insisted that the defense sought to make the matter lie in limbo without progress while hiding behind the smokescreen of appearing to want a speedy trial. He said that the court does not have the power and cannot grant the defendants the relief they seek. Only the CJ can do that. Citing relevant authorities to establish precedents, Okoroma went on to say that the defense relied heavily on Section 98 of the SCJA 2015. However, provisions therein can only come into play in a proceeding where the judge is sitting without intervening factors and there are no issues as to likelihood of bias and the judge is not on suspension. He further stated that in paragraphs 10 and 13 of their counter-affidavit, facts presented are not controversial. It is important that the court takes judicious note of the fact that the former trial judge is still on suspension and is caught under lock and key. As it stands now, the National Judicial Council, NJC, has not lifted his suspension and the Honorable Justice is not sitting. Furthermore, there is no date available as to when he will resume. He said the former trial judge and the defense lead counsel were tried together for corruption-related cases. Though discharged and acquitted, issues have been raised of real likelihood of bias based on relationship between the judge and the counsel. The CJ exercised his powers during a period of suspension of the former trial judge and did not act ultra vires. He opposed the defendant's motion and urged the court to discountenance the defense application. Justice Quadri thereafter adjourned for ruling on the motion. Golden Onwura reporting for the Eagle. Justice A.R. Mohammed of Federal High Court, Abuja, has granted permission to a former NNPC boss, Andrew Yakubu, to travel to the United Kingdom for medical checkup. Ruling on the application brought by Yakubu's counsel, Ahmed Raji SAN, Justice Mohammed said that since the prosecuting counsel is not opposing the defendant's motion dated 23rd May 2017, seeking leave to be granted to the defendant to travel to the United Kingdom to continue treatment, the application is granted. The judge also agreed with the prosecuting counsel, Prince Ben Ikani, that the international passport of the defendant be released to his counsel in the interim, adding that the leave is granted for a period of 3 weeks commencing from May 25, 2017. Other conditions attached to the release of the passports are: the defendant shall return to the country on or before the expiration of the 3 weeks granted. One of the sureties of the defendant shall file a separate affidavit to be liable in this case should the defendant refuse to return and take his trial. The same affidavit shall be filed before the international passport is released to the defendant's solicitor. Upon his return from his medical trip, the learned counsel to the defendant shall immediately return the international passport to the chief registrar of the court. The case has been adjourned to July 6, 2017 for continuation of trial. It will be recalled that Yakubu's trouble started on February 3, 2017, when operatives of the EFCC stormed a building belonging to the former NNPC boss and recovered a staggering sum of $9,772,000 United States dollars and 74,000 pounds sterling stashed in a huge fireproof safe. He is currently facing a 6-count charge of money laundering, non-disclosure of assets, and fraud. Golden Onwura, reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I say na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call, we no see. I say na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Niger, now we all know.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has taken over some bank accounts and properties traced to Judge Turner, a former special advisor to Dan Abia, as-well managing director of Niger Delta Commission, NDDC. The confiscation was done sequel to an interim forfeiture order granted the commission by a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Again, Golden Onwura completes the story.
One of the properties covered by the forfeiture order and which had been attached by the EFCC is an expansive building known as Kolo Villa in Kolo Town, Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. It will be recalled that Justice Ibrahim Watilat granted the interim forfeiture order based on an application filed before the court by the EFCC's counsel Adebola Olatunji. Turner, together with 7 companies, were arraigned on a 12-count charge bordering on obtaining by false pretense, money laundering, and abuse of office to the tune of 3,094,268,235 naira 69 kobo. The 7 companies arraigned with Turner are El Godmas Global Services Limited, Ton Oil and Gas Nigeria Limited, Kolo Creek Petroleum Development Limited, Celtic Pride Consult and Events, Yanagwa Mall, Adakaboro Marine Services Limited, and Sugarland Integrated Farms Nigeria Limited. In another development, angry protesters stormed the South-South Zonal Office of the EFCC, Port Harcourt, commending the Commission for prosecuting Judge Turner. The protesters, under the aegis of Niger Delta Volunteer Services Scheme and Celtic Pride and Events Limited, employees of Turner poured encomiums on the EFCC for its tireless efforts against corruption and for prosecuting Judge Turner, whom they accused of inflicting pain and suffering on them and making them to be primary victims of corruption. Henry N.E.S. Smith, coordinator of the group, called for the speedy trial of Turner.
to express our grievances about our politicians that have used us as that made us to be underdeveloped, made our regions to be underdeveloped for a very long time. We thank God for EFCC and the drive of. We thank God for EFCC and this present administration to get rid of corruption and the corrupt politicians. Yes. Because we are the victims. Yes. We are the victims of the corrupt practice. Yes. We are here to pay solidarity to EFCC for the fact that they have arrested one of the persons that have kept us in these conditions. Yes. Judge Turner. We are employees of Celtic Pride and Consorts. They are proved to be paying us every month. But since after 6 months that they paid us, they have not paid us till today. And they will be rendering our service to date. We and our family's members have been dying silently. But just for the recent discovery that EFCC have arrested him with sum of money that were looted for our development, we decide to pay solidarity visit to FCC. We thank you people. We thank Magu. We thank Buhari, President Muhammad Buhari. We thank them for the stand they are taking so far for the crime against corruption. Great Nigerian youth. Great non-violence youth. Great frontiers. Asawana. Asamua. Solidarity forever.
Some of the placards carried by the protesters read, "Enough is enough in Niger Delta. Thank you, EFCC. Judge Turner must return the money that is meant for the development of the youths. Pay us, Judge Turner. Celtic Pride, pay us our pending salary. Thank God for Magu. EFCC, help us to retrieve our seized salary from former SA youth to NDDC." Smith also pressed for the confirmation of the acting chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ibrahim Magu. He said, and I quote, "We hereby use this medium to direct the National Assembly on a matter of urgency to duly confirm Mr. Magu as a substantive chairman of the EFCC for more effective service." End of quote.
Youth of Niger Delta region, employees of Celtic Pride Consult and Event Limited through the NDDC, we humbly wish to use this medium to commend and congratulate the EFCC Chairman Barrister Ibrahim Magu for restoring our confidence and hopes in the fight against corruption. Yes. Since inspection, as a people and as youth who are desired to be productive and as an agent of positive change, we hereby use this medium to direct the National Assembly as a matter of urgency to pass the whistleblowers bill and duly confirm Mr. Magu as the substantive chairman of EFCC.
The protesters were received by Mrs. Apos Ekisowe on behalf of the EFCC. She received a letter brought by the protesters and promised to convey their message to the appropriate authorities. It will be recalled that Turner is standing trial before a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, on a 12-count charge bordering on obtaining money by false pretense, money laundering, and abuse of office. Golden Onwura, reporting for the Eagle.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
And with that report, we have come to the end of today's episode of The Eagle. Please don't forget to drop your comments via our social media portal at Official EFCC across all the social media platforms. For any information, inquiry or suggestions, please write to The Eagle at efccnigeria.org. You can also send your petitions to info@efccnigeria.org. I leave you with the words of A.K. Anthony, who says, "There is no compromise when it comes to corruption. You have to fight it. My name is Aisha Muhammad. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and God bless Nigeria.